Anora won Best Picture, Best Director. Mikey Madison won Best Lead Actress over Demi Moore. I'd heard that Anora was a sex film. Now, is it really one of those films that condones sexuality? Does it condone prostitution? Does it condone strippers? Well, this movie is way more of a movie that bashes all those things way more than it does condemning it, way more than it does condoning it. Yeah, sex farce has kind of always been around. Like in the 70s and the 80s, you had things like, Blake Edwards doing how many sex farces, like 10 and Skin Deep and all those ones. In the 90s and 2000s, you had teenage sex farces like American Pie and Road Trip. And then you had, even decades before that, you had the screwball comedy, which were kind of sex-related films. When you watch this film, what we get is a really strange, but still really smart film that condemns all that stuff. It's basically Pretty Woman meets Less Than Zero. Less Than Zero, kind of a similar sort of structure to Goodfellas, but take what you will. The movie deals with this young woman in her early 20s named Anora. That's her full name. She prefers to be called Annie. She lives in New York, kind of a trashy area. And she works at this strip club. She's an exotic dancer where, she'll pretty much do whatever, but she still takes great charge of herself. She's still very, very charming, still pretty respectable. And every so often, if she ever comes across somebody who's filthy rich and is willing to give her a lot of money, she'll do a little bit of prostitution for it. Now, the first little bit of the film, it really does make the whole world of strippers and prostitution out to be fun. Because, she's having a good time. The guys that she's dancing to, they're all having a blast. The camera movements are all good. The cinematography, all that stuff is sheer dynamite. But then she meets this young man. She's a couple years younger than she is, named Vanya. And he's a pretty unlikable, immature dork. She finds out that he is sitting on a gold mine. Super filthy, stinking rich. Now, because of that, she thinks that she is, that they're in love. She really can't tell that there really isn't much chemistry there between them, aside from there being a ton of sex. And yes, there is a ton of sex in this movie, especially in the first little bit. Yeah, she is having a good time with the sex. She's having a good time with the strip club. When she ends up quitting and she marries Vanya and they're living the lap of luxury, we're only shown just sex and luxury. We don't really get to see any kind of chemistry whatsoever between the two of them. And that's genius on Sean Baker's behalf, okay? We see no chemistry, no true love between them, just physical stuff. We see the sex, we see making out, we see nudity, we see luxury. Afterwards, we find out some crazy news about Vanya. We find out that he is actually a complete mom's boy, super duper immature, and his parents totally hate him. He's total disgrace to his family. It's Russians everywhere. And some people that work for his family really want his marriage to Annie to be annulled. So they invade their mansion. Vanya goes on the run. They kidnap, essentially, Annie to really get the marriage annulled. That's when the movie ends up switching gears for the better. The movie does become a lot better. We do get to learn a little bit more about people in the film. We get to really see exactly why all the sheer seeming randomness of the first half of the film was all there for. Like, seriously, in the first little bit, when we're just seeing them glamorize the whole stripper lifestyle, and later on in the film, when Annie just hits rock bottom, and also when we're seeing the relationship with Vanya and Annie just purely about physicality, they were never truly in love. Okay, Annie may have loved Vanya, but it was never a mutual sort of thing. What I said at the very beginning of this video was that the movie was like Pretty Woman meets Lesson Zero, a little bit of Goodfellas, okay? It's like a Pretty Woman in the sense that, in Pretty Woman, Julia Roberts, she's a prostitute, meets rich Richard Gere, and, turns her life around. And it's also like Goodfellas and Lesson Zero in the sense that in both those films, it's a rise and fall thing. Two guys making a ton of money, live in the lap of luxury. They think that they're totally above the law, do really anything that they really want. Drugs end up getting a hold of them and knocks out every single component of their lives. Health, family, friends, money, everything is gone. And that's kind of how it is with Anora. She's riding the lap of luxury when she marries Vanya, and then finds out that everything was just a complete sham, and she hits rock bottom just like the guys in Lesson Zero and in Goodfellas. The movie, I was really surprised with how well things worked. The movie is a dark comedy, just like everyone says, and I was laughing quite a bit at things. In the acting, yes, Mikey Madison was very worthy of an Oscar nomination. She would have been worthy of the Oscar win if only Demi Moore was not a fellow nominee. Yeah, this is a very, very wonderful film, and it just shows that Sean Baker is growing as a filmmaker, he's growing as a writer, he's growing as a visual artist. Anyone that thinks that Anora isn't a great film, the people that kind of bash this for being like a sex film, go back and watch other films that deal with that kind of subject matter. Go back and watch Blake Edwards, this sort of thing. Check out Robert Altman. Check out Martin Scorsese. You're going to find lots of taboo subject matter in those films. And I do think that in Anora's case, yes, it does glamorize that lifestyle early on in the film, but the strings attached to it, in a way. It's like, yes, sex can be fun and games, but this is what's going to happen to you if you keep up that lifestyle. You're going to get deluded. You're going to eventually crumble. You're going to eventually shatter and hit rock bottom if you keep up that lifestyle. The movie isn't as stark and brutal as Monster or Leaving Las Vegas. It takes a different approach to it. Those movies were very, very upfront and in your face with that lifestyle's brutality. But in this one, it takes more of a... It just takes a different tone in terms of how it condemns it. It's a case of, all right, yep, you think that all this stuff is fun? Well, watch what happens a little bit later on. Yeah, I think like I couldn't stop thinking about Anora when the movie finished. Haven't been able to stop thinking about it since. I am 100% with on board with Anora winning Best Picture. I haven't seen every Best Picture nominee. I thought it was a little too well done for my taste. I'll give Anora from 2024 4 stars out of 4. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you again next time.